How's it going, guys? Diego from SGN here to talk about the great news that just came from Manchester United, which is the signing of Fred from Shakhtar for about £43 million. Now, having played in the Ukraine and having had a minuscule role in the Champions League, obviously playing for Shakhtar, we don't know exactly what he's going to be able to do at the highest level. What we do know is he was at least good enough to be called to the Brazil team for the World Cup. And that's no small feat because Brazil's midfield tends to be really, really solid. And Fabinho, who is a very, very good player, a phenomenal player, wasn't able to get himself called up. And I do think he had some injuries, so that probably is a factor. But regardless, Fred managed to get himself called to the World Cup, and that is a very big feather in his cap. And I look forward to seeing what he can bring to the table. If you look at what he brings good passing, a very, very solid ability to find assists. Really, I'm not going to say really good shooting, but he has pretty solid shooting. Having scored 2 goals, playing as a box-to-box midfielder is a pretty good tally in 24 appearances. He is, like I said, he's a box-to-box midfielder who works very hard, and he has that work ethic that a lot of players on our team over the past few years haven't really shown to have. And I think that the biggest thing that he can probably bring to the table, not just with his passing, but is his energy. The biggest problem we had last season was there were a lot of games against whether it be small opposition or bigger teams, was there were quite a few games where things just weren't clicking. And when those things weren't clicking, we had to rely on a piece of magic from a player late on, or things were just going shitty. And I think that a guy like Fred, with his energy, with his work ethic, and just with his enthusiasm, having that Brazilian desire to play, is going to be very important for us, and really being somebody who can kickstart the motor and really get the team playing even when things aren't going very well. I think that him, alongside Ander Herrera, are going to have a very big impact and continuously bring that enthusiasm, bring that hunger to the team when things just simply aren't kicking off. And that's going to be very, very important. I think that's probably the biggest thing that he can bring to the table, alongside his just box-to-box effort and his passing. Now, what type of midfield are we going to be playing? Because there's a lot of people that are wondering, are we going to bring in Milinkovic-Savic as well? In my opinion, probably not. I think we're going to be playing a 4-3-3 with Matic, Pogba, and with Fred as our midfielders. And I think that probably does favor Pogba a lot too, because the biggest problem for him throughout the entire season was Mourinho insisting to play with a two-man midfield, and that was never really giving him the freedom that he wanted. And a guy like Fred, who isn't just defensive like Matic probably for the most part is, he can do offensive work, he can do defensive work. So I think that we're going to have Matic playing behind Pogba and Fred, which is going to give both men a lot of freedom. And in particular, Pogba is going to have more ability to be able to go playing forward, which, in my opinion, basically the way it'll work is when we're attacking, Matic will stay farther behind, and Pogba and Fred will be attacking a lot more often. Whereas when we're defending, Pogba will probably stay a bit more forward with Fred and Matic being behind him and really giving a lot of cover to the defense. And in my opinion, that's a very, very solid idea, especially with the fact that we can mix in Ander Herrera to that midfield as well and give energy when we need it. Give somebody who has a bit more, I don't know if I'm not going to say he's a better defensive midfielder than Matic, because in my opinion he's not, he's probably worse, but he has different characteristics. Somebody who is quicker with his feet, somebody who is faster as a player, and who has that Spanish mentality, who in a lot of situations is very, very helpful. So I do look forward, and shout out to my cat Ulo over there. I do look forward to seeing what Fred can bring to the table, and I think he is going to have a pretty big impact in the team. And like I said, are we going to bring in Milinkovic-Savic? In my opinion, no, because I think that especially last season, we really saw that the transfer policy over here at United is we're going to have basically two, maybe even 3 options for the positions that we want to bring in. Last season, we saw with Lukaku, his alternate was basically Morata. And when Lukaku was proven to be a very, very eligible candidate to be brought in, and by the time it seemed very, very obvious that he wasn't going to be coming, Morata was kind of put to the side, and we went as hard as we could after the man that we really wanted. In my opinion, the main transfer target for center midfield this summer was Milinkovic-Savic. But last year we're wanting like £150 million, depending on what news source you look at, and that's just way too much. Like, let's just be real. Like, as good as Milinkovic-Savic probably is going to be, we just don't really have. Like, we've spent so much money recently, like spending that much money on a single player who isn't really proven at the highest level, because Serie A isn't the highest level. We don't really have that desire, and that just, like, it's a very big risk. It is a very big risk, whereas Fred, for £43 million, what he brings to the table with the abilities and the fact that he has so much potential, it definitely makes sense, and I'm very, very excited to see what he can do. So very much, just let's see what the hell happens. And hopefully he'll come out of the World Cup unscathed. And like I said, it's a very, very big deal that we were able to bring him in before the World Cup, because it means that as soon as the World Cup is over, he can come in and obviously have his little vacation, but he can already be like contemplating what he can possibly bring in. Maybe Mourinho can already have a talk with him, tell him exactly what he expects, and things for the club and for the player can be a lot easier. There's going to be a lot less of a hassle later on in the transfer window, and just overall, I think it has a really, really big impact on the mentality of the team and of the player going into preseason, and it just makes everybody a lot more relaxed, and it gives the team the opportunity to focus on whatever other positions that they want to focus on in the rest of the transfer window. Probably going to be defenders, possibly even another midfielder, we'll see, and we'll just see what the hell happens. That is it for the video, guys. Let me know in the comment section down below how excited you are to see Fred coming over to the United. Do you think he's going to be a big player for us? Do you think it's just going to kind of be another one of those players who's good but not great? What do you think? Definitely let me know in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell if you want to get a notification every time I put out a video. That way you're one click away from seeing it. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much once again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.